Okay, let's talk a little about Metacol Rex, the seat of the Empire. Now, the Muaat, at some stage, you ideally do want to take the center. Having a 6 influence planet means you can score 2 command tokens every time someone plays leadership, which is very strong for your race, particularly as I've mentioned, you struggle with command tokens. That being said, you probably don't want to rush to the center. The table is already apprehensive of you because you have this huge war sun with ridiculous destructive capabilities. Rushing the center is only going to draw further aggravation towards you from the rest of the table. Like I said, my main 2 victories, 2 of the 3 times I've won, have come from me trying to just keep up with the rest of the races in terms of, points, and then sort of out of nowhere scoring, 4 to 6 points in one turn and winning. I think this approach works best for the Muaat in general. So maybe towards, you don't want to be the first person to take the center, but the second person is probably where you want to be. So usually what will happen in Twilight Imperium, someone will take the center, and usually, well, it depends, but usually they're not going to stay there too long because the other races are going to try and knock them off to prevent them from scoring too many points. Now, once this initial knockoff has happened, that is probably your best opportunity to take the center. Whether you knock the player off yourself or whether you hang around and let someone else do the dirty work and then you sweep in and wipe out the remaining forces, that either or is fine. But yeah, as far as your game strategy is concerned, try and take Metacol Rex in the mid game, and then if you can hold it, then definitely just hold it. Because with movement 3 War Suns, you can easily get back to your home system if need be, if it becomes under threat or whatever. Which is one of the great reasons why you do want to get Prototype War Sun 2. Despite the fact you'll probably have to get 1, or in the worst case scenario, 2 suboptimal red technologies. Right, and finally, to round things off, I think it would be good to do a little conclusion because we've covered a hell of a lot. So let's see, let's start with maybe the first 3 or 4 turns, a quick overview. Turn 1 objectives. Produce, you need to move twice on your first turn. You need to do that through warfare. Primary or secondary, it doesn't matter, but you need to get that done. You need to conquer 2 systems worth of planets. If you get the secondary, then build a carrier and maybe 2 flagmen or 2 fighters or whatever. The other main thing to get done on turn 1 is technology. Try and research a tech if you can. This is my first preference pick, and that's a close second. And trade is third. Either getting any of these turn 1 is happy days. If not, go for politics. Turn 2, you want to have movement 2 War Suns. You either do this by, if you get lucky, try tech to this on turn 2, Prototype War Sun 2, or you go for Gravity Drive turn 2. One or the other, but please just make sure you get one of these active on turn 2 before you move your War Sun out. Because a War Sun at movement 1 is not much of a threat. Once you have movement 2 War Suns at least, people will really start being a little cautious of you. And it also allows your War Sun to better protect your carriers as you move them around. Because your carriers are super vulnerable. Big Brother War Sun keeps that in check. So that's your turn 2 objective, is getting to one of these. And by turn 2 or 3, get your second War Sun out. If you get it done by turn 2, fantastic, but turn 3 at the latest if things are going to plan. And yeah, turn 3 or turn 4, depending on the board state, look to take Metacol Rex and just go from there, really. As far as objectives are concerned, avoid going for objectives which require you to spend resources and stuff. Instead, aim to get technological objectives or position, or like area control objectives. You have a strong presence, use that to secure the positions you need. What else is there to say? Try and establish positive relations with your neighbours, because, like I said earlier, the Muaat is a race that you cannot win on your own with this race. You need funding. You need lots and lots of trade goods to build that second War Sun, and to have funding remaining in case one gets bombed. You want to be in the position where every turn you can basically rebuild a War Sun should one die. That's the mid game. That is the position you want to be in. For your fleet itself, your fleets are going to be, you're going to have 2 main attacking forces. War Suns with a bunch of fighters and 1 or 2 destroyers. That is what your fleet should consist of, and of course you need a couple of ground forces as well. But something like this is what you should be aiming to have for your fleets, going into your mid-game fleet. War Suns and destroyers, that's your main attacking force. Your promissory note is very powerful, but it can be a double-edged sword. It's probably the best promissory note in the game. Just be very careful who you give this to, and ask a lot for it. If nothing else, you're helping that player achieve technological objectives. And you're giving them a free card that lets them stall. That alone is powerful. And I think that just about wraps things up. You've got your strategy for your first few turns. Try and build friendly relations. You know the techs that you want to go for. Blue into red, then diversify, then get your destroyer too. And that's about it, I believe. I think everything has been covered off. So I hope you've enjoyed this strategy guide for using the Muaat. I really enjoy playing these guys. They are a lot of fun. They are my favourite race. I've played a few others. I've probably played around under 10 games of Twilight Imperium. I've played the Muaat most of the time. Other races I've done is the Arborak, the Clan of Sar, and I think the Barony. I think the Barony of Vecna. Those are the other races I've played. But anyway, I'm really getting sidetracked here. So yes, thank you for watching, and I hope you crush people with your War Suns and have a lot of fun doing that as I have. Mission complete.